Hello, welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. I'm your co-host, Jimmy Qualls, and with us as always is a resident football expert and especially amped up co-host today, Tate Mathews. Tate, we're going to start with the Battle of Franklin. Huge win for the Rebels, but I want you to talk about WCS game day. Go.
Well, I think that's why I'm still amped up, man. The energy was so off the chart Friday night. It really was. It was so fun. What a great atmosphere. I had my youngest boy and a couple of his friends. They couldn't believe it. They thought it was a college-like atmosphere. It was a college-like atmosphere. We talked about it, and we put the challenge out to the Rebellion.
Yeah.
Can you top it? Can you up your game? And there have been bigger crowds.
There have.
But there has never been a more engaged crowd from start to finish with that amount of energy ever at a game day. The bar has been set. The bar was set. The bar has now been raised, and I can't wait to see where it goes from there. But it was the atmosphere, the energy, the electricity, the production. You were on your A game.
I don't know about that, but it was fun.
It was good, man.
It's hard to stay on your A game when you've got stuff like that, kind of like you today. When you get that amped up, you don't know what you're going to say. We got the table being broken. See, I'm going into my wrestling mode right now. Listen.
Dr. Defense broke the table for the second year in a row.
Colonel Reb showed up.
Colonel Reb.
Bring your own juice. A Corey Fatoni reference.
Here to create.
Here to create.
Coach Johnson and Coach Joins were there.
The
Freedom Middle, WMAA
Mr. Producer,
world champions were there.
We're going to have to get this for you and show a clip of it because people don't believe us when we say this. In all honesty.
It was hype.
From 5.
Hey, the drum corps.
Oh, the drum line.
Drum line. Those guys, they were like TSUs, man.
From 5:30 till we finished, till that game was over, pretty much the energy was set. But from 5:30, we went on air around 10 after 6 is when we got started. But it never stopped. There's always a segment. This is what separates the Rebellion from everybody else. You know, Coach Joins was putting the Rebellion over last year.
He was fanning the flames.
Hey, nationally ranked team, nationally ranked student section. You know, they got to go to their deal. We're like, yeah, we've been there. Wasn't the best experience the first time, but there's a lot that goes into that because we've grown. And at that point in time of the year of that game day when we went the first time, may not have been the best. I think that Franklin's record was not the best at that particular time. But neither here nor there. We also have never done the Battle of Franklin.
That's right.
I think that was the key, the key difference in this. So we get there, 6 o'clock, students roll in. They're already rolling in.
They're already there.
Yeah, they're all rolling in at 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, I can remember the guy on the PA announcement asking those kids how they got in, if Coach Ruth had let them in. And they all said yes, and there was no kicking them out because they had to kick everybody out of the stadium except the student section at that time. Anyway, we get there. There's a segment in the show that we always talk about, just like today, where we talk about every game in the WCS Sports Conference. In everywhere we have ever been, when we get off that particular game wherever we are and go into those other games, there's a period of time where it kind of dies down. The kids kind of lose the motivation about what's going on. Not this past Friday night. I've never seen anything like it. Hats off, Rebellion. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it was awesome. Cheerleaders did a great job of keeping them engaged the whole show.
The posters.
Oh
man.
The fatheads. They brought it. It was awesome. And hey, just so you know, for future game days, that doesn't just happen. There was planning that went into that, and
I always tell them
Coach Joins and Dr. Bauer and Mr. Ruth, I think, were a big part of that.
I always tell those folks when we go in, there's one thing that we cannot control, and that is what happens at the game, who shows up and how pumped they are.
Yeah.
Hats off to the entire Franklin school.
And shout out to my man Dick at Street Tuxedo. He picked out the perfect jacket for you. The sequined maroon.
That's become my favorite.
I can't believe they even had that. It's pretty neat.
It's become my favorite part of the whole show is the official putting on the jackets.
And you kind of like dressing like that. That's
okay.
It gets you in. It's kind of like Ric Flair's robe, right?
Right.
It gets you in character.
Right.
I like it.
All right, let's move on. Franklin.
One last thing, and then I'm gonna be quiet. I talked to Coach Kreisky on the field at warm-ups. And he said, hey, man, I'm telling you, if you think our kids don't notice this, if you think they don't enjoy playing in front of this type stuff, if you think this doesn't add to the atmosphere of the game for them, you're mistaken. They love it. The kids love it. It was just everything about it was great.
So
great.
we had a mini Battle of Franklin that happened on Thursday prior to the Friday game between Freedom Middle School and Grassland Middle School, who Freedom obviously feeds into Centennial. Grassland feeds into Franklin. Centennial ended up winning that game. Freedom won that game, right. 13-6. And Charles Farmer, Dr. Charles Farmer, who used to be over here, is now the principal at Freedom Middle. He brought his guys over, and we invited them to come since they were the WMAA champions, and he brought a couple of his kids. And to see the looks in their faces, and what he told me afterwards was one of the best things, you can explain it to them all day, but when they see it, it's a total different deal.
That's right.
And they got a chance to see a portion of that.
It's college.
So that's enough. That's enough of Tate Mathews and Jeremy Qualls patting themselves on the back on WCS game day. Let's get into the games themselves.
And back to that game, both Centennial and Franklin, they got players coming, man. Both Grassland and Freedom had players.
They got some dudes.
They got some guys coming. It's going to be fun.
Franklin ended up winning the Battle of Franklin 28-14. Defense looked really, really good for Coach Donnie Webb. It's 2 weeks in a row Dr. Defense has come alive for the Rebels. Centennial not dead yet in the playoff race. Some things going to have to happen. That big win for Independence. Now Centennial's got to beat Brentwood. If they beat Brentwood, anything can happen in this thing to get to that coveted third win and punch their tickets. But right now, Franklin has a definite leg up with 2 wins in the region. 28-14, what do we know about that game?
Well, it was, Battle of Franklin. Anytime these two get together, you can throw the records out, and that sounds cliche, but it's true. And, it's I guess this game kind of is what we're talking about. Don't hit the panic button, weeks 1 through 5. What we talked about it before the game, what Franklin team is going to show up. And then, they had some nice wins, and then they had some losses that you couldn't figure out. That Independence loss at the time, Independence wasn't that we thought about playing very well. They go out and hammer them, and we're thinking, gosh. Well, what we figured out Friday night is, guess what? Independence is a pretty dang good football team. You know what I'm saying? And so Franklin's come out and played really well the last 2 weeks, had a big win over Hendersonville and now Centennial, but 246 rushing yards for the Rebels, an average of 5.7 yards per carry. They had 25 first downs to 13 first downs for the Cougars. 5 for 8 on third down conversions. That's a 62.5% on third downs. They won the turnover battle. Matt Gacka went 33 carries, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns. What does that mean? It means they kept that ball away from the Centennial offense. They limited their possessions. They made the most of their possessions. That's a winning recipe of football for the Rebels right there. They played. They played lights out.
A lot of people may ask, you've got a player in Chancellor Bright out there. Chancellor Bright's a great athlete. Why wouldn't we throw more? Well, number one, they're getting all the defensive shade is going towards that. They're taking that away. But you know what? When you have a player like Gacka, and you can control the ball, the best thing they could do, just like you said, the best offense is defense.
It really was.
I said that wrong. The best defense is offense, and keep that ball on the field, milk the clock. Gacka, workhorse, 200-plus yards. What does that do? Jariel Wilson, 47 hard-working yards on the ground, lowest amount of carries all year long. He did have 2 big catches for 61 yards. But what a weapon Chancellor Bright is. He's getting a lot of looks, Tate. Arkansas being one of those. They know all it takes is one strike. This guy's going to see pay dirt for a touchdown. As you can see in this play, as WCTV's Play of the Week, a bomb from Josh Nichols to Chancellor Bright.
We're just fortunate that we don't have no rain so far.
Absolutely. And hopefully no lightning delays or any of the like. So Nichols back to pass, going to his right, got his man, and that is hauled in. What a catch, Chancellor Bright. What an over-the-shoulder catch. Beautiful. One of the prettiest catches we've seen all year right there.
Talking about Chancellor Bright, he is a guy that the people around Franklin are saying this guy has got a lot of upside.
Right there's a prime example. What stands out in that play? The throw from the quarterback. He threw it to a place where nobody could get it other than his receiver.
Well, yeah, and all you need is the threat of the downfield pass with him being out there. And he's not a guy. This isn't Independence Eagles offense and Scott Blade and T.J. Sheffield. He's not going to get 10 catches and receptions a game. But 2, 3, 4, 22, 33-yard touchdown there. That's all they need. We need the threat of the ball, the deep threat ball to him, which they have, and he's a guy, when they get him out there in single coverage like that, or if they've got the cornerback rolled up, they send him on a go route. That safety can't get there.
Nope.
And don't underestimate Joshua Nichols' throw. He put it where it needed to be. Great catch. And, now with that threat on top of the running game, that's how Coach Webb, Dr. Defense, that's how he wants to win. That's how he wants to play.
4 yards, a cloud of dust. He loves it.
Yeah, well, but it's proven. And back to GACA, 33 catches. You carry the ball 33 times on the 6A level, and you don't fumble.
Man,
that's a workhorse, man.
But you go back to what you're talking about. You got to control the game. Keep Jariel off the field. It was a prime. You want to be schooled on coaching? That's it. People in the stands, including myself, sometimes we think, "Why aren't we throwing this? Why aren't we doing this?" They know what they're doing. Dr. Defense knows what he's doing. Got to keep Jariel top 3 in the mid-state electrifying players off the field. Another one of those top 3 electrifying players, T.J. Sheffield, that you mentioned earlier. Independence, huge win, 42 over Brentwood 31. I think this shocked everybody. At one point in time, Independence led this game 42-14.
They did 42-14 in the third quarter, and I mean, just think about that. We're talking about Brentwood High School,
Nobody saw this one coming, including the pundits.
No, heck no, and they just came out and we've talked about it, and you couldn't really put your finger on it, but so many weapons. And Ethan Cash goes for 460 passing yards, 5 touchdowns. Now think about this: 3 of them were to TJ, 2 of them was Isaiah Collier. You ready for this? Now this is in 3 quarters. It ain't like
against a Brentwood defense, mind you.
Nobody, you know how many points between the 2 of them? This is how crazy this game was scored in the fourth quarter? None. All this stuff was done in 3 quarters.
You know how many points the Bruins have been giving up over 7 weeks of play? Only 22 points per game.
Yeah. So how about this? Here's the 5 touchdown strikes. TJ Sheffield, 79 yards. Isaiah Collier, 73 yards. TJ Sheffield, 21 yards. Isaiah Collier, 22 yards. TJ Sheffield, 40 yards. And, Isaiah had a 36-yard touchdown run for a touchdown in there. Wow.
Isaiah Collier, we call this at the first year. This makes me sound like I know what I'm talking about.
You do.
I do. Isaiah Collier was going to become a household name because of TJ Sheffield. You want to talk about the best 1-2 tandem. Now, we've got a lot. Now, there's a lot of people can argue this. Anthony Mason with some of the people up.
Andrew Mason, Anthony Holmes.
Yes, thank you. Holmes and Mason. And then you've got Avery Williams. You've got 7 to choose from at the Brentwood side. But Sheffield and Collier, what they bring to the table, you look at that. Granzow, 220 yards on 15 of 31 completions with 4 touchdowns. Avery Williams caught 7 balls, 88 yards and a touchdown. Walker Merrill, 6 catches, 50 yards, 3 touchdowns. This receiving core keeps producing every single night. But for whatever reason, the Bruins defense got carved up on this particular night with that. And Independence is so capable of doing this to anybody on any given night. And guess who they got left to play? You better get a ticket for this one.
Ravenwood.
Yes,
the
sir.
Raptor Fast.
Think about that.
That's going to be a fun game, man. Well, but here's I think more than anybody, you talk about Bishop and Mason, Bishop and Williams for Brentwood, and then you got Mason and Holmes. Not that TJ and Isaiah can't go downfield. They can, but they're more downfield guys. I think TJ and Collier, more than anybody, any of the tandems, are guys that get the ball out to them quick and get them in space and let them make plays. And I think, TJ had, he had 301 yards on 10 receptions, 3 touchdowns, and that 79 and 70, 79-yarder, I bet that wasn't a long bomb. I bet it was a throw catch, and he took off and outran everybody.
The Blade Runner.
Coach Blade. Hey.
If he finishes out and beats Ravenwood.
Region champs.
Region 6A champs. I want you to think about that, how crazy that is. But a lot of work to be done on that game. And Ravenwood's got a tough part of their schedule coming up in this last few weeks, and we'll talk about that.
Real quick, Cash, 460 yards. Strong kid,
460
yards. Played really well.
406.
22 for 34.
That's pretty efficient.
That's strong.
It's not a bad night. Summit 27, Franklin County 7 in that wing tee game that lasted about 22 minutes. There was not a lot of passes thrown. I give Coach Coleman a hard time about this, but there's that game that we talked about last week. Coach Mac McCurry, Franklin County, obviously was Coach Coleman's mentor and the father of the wing tee out there. He started at Lewisburg, Moore County before that. Now he's at Franklin County. Kind of shocked at this score. I really am. I think everybody thought, matter of fact, the pundits had this Old Sparty coming in as an underdog in this game. Flat, put it on them.
They did.
You know, they've done a really good job of bouncing back. Win, loss, win, loss. This has gone all the way through week 7. Hope week 8. Maybe he'll change his luck on this win-loss alternating weeks deal for Summit and Coach Coleman. But 27-7, what do we know about this game?
Well, 3 things. 1, region game, region win. 8.9 yards per play on offense. You can win like that.
You can win.
You got 4 downs, get 10, 8.9 yards average, right? Destin Wade, he keeps getting better, 5 for 7, 82 yards and a touchdown. But Trey Hunter comes in. Every year we know this with this Summit offense. Who's the
Robin to the Batman?
That's right. Who's going to be Robin? Trey Hunter has become Robin.
And that's okay because you know what? G.O. was the Robin.
He was Robin.
To
That's
Batman
right.
of Tackyard last year. So
that's right. That's what Shaq told D. Wade, man. Somebody's got to be Robin, right? Huh? That worked for them, World Championship. Hey, Trey Hunter, 15 rushes, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's playing lights out. That's 2-3 weeks in a row that he's done that, okay? That takes some of the load off of Gio, right? You can't zone in just on him. And then Nealon Jean, we talked about that at game day, the quarterback for Franklin County. He's been lighting people up. They held him under 200 yards total offense, forced 2 interceptions. I think that was the key to the game. They must have played really well on defense.
Well, they needed this is a big time win for them because they have a huge game coming up this week in Shelbyville, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Page 28, winners over Lincoln County 21 in overtime, close one. They're going to have some close games. They've kind of got that target put on them now. Who's going to knock them off? You know, I saw this coming. I really did. I really thought there's a game, and it's such a good win for them because they could have easily come in and not play well and lose a game, you know, lose those tight games. But they somehow find a way to win this game. Maybe it's a wake-up call. Maybe they needed this to kind of get back and going. But what do we know about this game?
Well, it went to overtime. So, one, we keep on winning. We had another win total. We're sitting here, at 6-1 now. Could not be happier for Coach Bone and this team. Went to overtime. So you stayed with it. You found a way to win. You know, this isn't the Louis Thompson teams of old, but going to the pit in Lincoln County is a tough place to play. I don't know that there's not some home cooking that goes on down there. And Timmy Johnson is a great coach. I mean, that's why he's there. He will make Lincoln County better. So an overtime win, a region win, and then Michael Burdick with a 77-yard punt return for a touchdown. Why you would continue to kick it to this guy is beyond me. I don't understand.
He will not. I'm going to make a bold prediction.
Tombstone City.
First tombstone of the week goes to Michael Burdick. You're not going to get another kick the rest of the year. Congratulations, young fella.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't kick it to him. And then he also had another interception on defense. I mean, this guy can do it all, man. Playmaker. So
I don't know how colleges can continue to sleep on this kid. I think that some things are going to fall. You know, I get sick and tired of talking about, you know, kids not passing the eye test or checking the boxes. This kid can flat play. He's a winner. He's proven it week in and week out. Somebody go get this kid an offer. Fairview 33, Sycamore 13. It's a broken record for the Yellow Jackets. Coach Chris Hughes have now won 6 straight games.
Yeah, they're in the driver's seat. All they need to do is just finish this thing off, and it's been the same thing every week. You know, Brock Harris is running around 200 yards. It's kind of like, remember when the big three, we had the big three of the Dallas Cowboys, Aikman and Smith and Irvin? That's kind of what we got here. Harris around 200 yards. Nardozzi was over 150 rushing.
yards.
Cam Harris, Lusk, you know.
91 yards catching and 30 on the ground. I mean, it's just typical night.
There you go.
Take care of business.
And they're not playing 4 quarters.
Yellow Jackets roll. We got to cut that short because we haven't talked about them. I'm superstitious. We're going to roll on past them. Ravenwood 41, Dixon County 3. We called this one.
Yes.
We knew that this homecoming matchup was not going to be favorable for the Dixon County Cougars, and it was not.
Coach Daniels had the Sea Ray fired up. It was already running. Had his boat captain hat sitting on the gear shift ready to go. We're going for a boat race. It was Garcia. 4 passing touchdowns, 2 of them to Holmes, 2 of them to Mason, and a touchdown run. You like to see this. That was a team that they should have popcorned. They did. So you took care of business, got to play the puppies, build some depth.
Nolensville 20, Tullahoma 30. This was one of those games that Coach Derrick informed me they did not play as good as they had hoped against a really good Tullahoma team, a one-loss Tullahoma team coming in. They did make a comeback out of this. It was kind of up early for Tullahoma, but then the Knights fought back, just fell a little bit short.
Yeah, kind of like Brentwood, different, but they got down too much, and then they played really well in the second half and came back, but it was too much to overcome. And don't be too down on this. Tullahoma's a good football team. A couple years ago, they were not, but they've got that ship righted, and this is a good football team. They beat a lot of quality people. So Colton Dooley had another big night, I think 3 touchdowns, and they're getting this quarterback thing, 2-quarterback system, I guess, maybe, figured out, and they both do some really good things, and, you got to get through that. So I still think Nolensville is poised to make a playoff run. They're a good football team. They just got beat by a better football team that night.
So that was the first loss out of conference for us collectively in 3 weeks. Obviously we're not going to go undefeated all the way, but I love to keep up with that. And the Knights will bounce back in that region. They're sitting now at 4-3. That's the end of week 7. Let's talk about week 8. What does that hold? First game we're going to talk about the 5-2 Bruins, 3-1 in region play, hosts Father Ryan. Father Ryan's coming in 2-5, 0-4. Just going to say this for the Fighting Irish. It does not bode well to come in.
No.
You've lost 4 in a row, and they got beat in the fashion that they got beat. I have talked to Coach Crawford on the phone. It's not going to be pretty.
Not a good time to get them. They're not in a good mood. Coach Crawford and Coach Rector through the years have played each other so many times. They know each other so well, but you throw all that out. Brentwood's better athletically than Father Ryan is. So I think they'll come. I think they'll come focused and be ready to play. And the way they play, they'll give you some shots. They dare you to take some shots. And we know we got some guys on the Bruins that can get downfield. And what Granzow's doing, he's becoming a heck of a quarterback now, even in the losses. So they've got that downfield presence. And Ravenwood kind of gave you the blueprint a few weeks ago. I think Brentwood wins double digits pretty easily.
Here's a new thing that's coming to the forefront for the Bruins, and I do not want to get overshadowed. Their kicker, the new secret weapon, Tabor Miller, 51-yard field goal. If you've never seen this kid kick, man, he has got a rocket leg, and if you can kick a 51-yard field goal, that is such a huge asset in the high school game.
Without a doubt, and think about now going down into the playoff to know that he can make one in a game that matters that far. So, and he's been doing it all year, and he's not just doing it in field goals. He's doing it in the kickoffs and the punting, and he's a weapon, man. Centennial
3-4, 2-2 at Hillsboro. They're playing on Saturday at Vanderbilt Stadium. The Cougars get back.
I don't know. Hillsboro's playing better. Centennial's a little banged up right now. We'll see. Don't know who all we're going to have, but it's all going to come down to the line of scrimmage. Hillsboro's going to put 5 guys on the 5 offensive linemen and make them play them one-on-one and see if they can stop them. If they can, Centennial's got a chance, be able to break Jariel on some of those and protect that quarterback. But if they can't block those 5 up there, Hillsboro will turn up that heat and come after them all game long.
They will, but this game is so important.
Big
confidence sake, for whatever reason, getting into this game for Brentwood, you've got to be an athletic team. Brentwood's athletic, Hillsboro's athletic. This is a great test. It's a non-conference game, but it's such a huge game for that inside of that locker room for Coach Kreisky to get these Cougars back. It's at Vanderbilt. I think that the Cougars bounce back this week. We'll see. They're going to have to play a little bit. They're going to have to play some good defense. Going to have to win that battle at the line of scrimmage, like you said, to do so. Ravenwood 6-1 versus South Warren, Kentucky. Who would have thought coming into this game, South Warren, Kentucky is 7-0. They're the number 5 ranked team in Kentucky in 5A. They got their hands full.
Yeah, they do, but they were that way last year. All I heard about was how unbeatable they were, and they got a Notre Dame commit, and they got
That's Coach Daniel speak, though, right?
Steve
Is it Coach
Spur.
speak?
Well, no, I'd heard that from Coach Clayton.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But they handled them last year. We learned I learned my lesson. I don't sleep on the Raptors anymore. Yeah, this is going to be they're a really good team, but I promise you, South Warren hasn't played the schedule that Ravenwood has. Promise.
True. Page 6-1, 2-0 at White County, 0-6, 0-3.
Rathbone's wearing the boat, Captain.
First Tombstone, Popcorn City. You're already pulling on the tugboat. Horn there for them. Summit 3-3, 2-1 at Shelbyville 5-1. Tough test for Spartans.
Tough test. The run game versus the passing game. Remember this game a couple years ago on TV? Broke every offensive record ever known to man.
Offense is the best defense.
This will not be 10-7.
No. Fairview 5-1, 2-0 at Sycamore. They played Sycamore last week. I apologize, I got the wrong team on there. They're playing Harpeth at home.
This
Homecoming.
is my lock of the week. Fairview wins the Sycamore game.
They win big. Nolensville, Lincoln County.
This is going to be a good game, but I think Nolensville can get them again. They're going to the pit. Tough place to play.
Independence, CPA. Independence coming in as a 1-point dog in this game. How about that? Underdog.
Game of the week. This is going to be fun. You want to talk about some playmakers on this field at one time.
What about the center for CPA, Jarrett Mathews? He's a player.
He's pretty good.
I can't wait to see him play.
Great hair.
Yes, something you don't have. Franklin 4-3 at Oakland 5-1. We know that's a big mountain for the Rebs to climb over. They are coming in as a 13-point dog. Can they get in under the spread?
Oh yeah, but I mean which is kind of their recipe anyways. They cannot turn the ball over against Oakland.
Fairview, I mentioned they were 25-point favorites. Do they get that? Did they cover that?
Oh my gosh, this is
Ravenwood +3, South Warren. Did they cover?
yes.
Franklin, we said -13. Page +40 at White County. The pundits really like to play the Patriots.
That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points. I don't know.
Plus, I think Coach Bone. We're going to be sitting here at 7-1. I bet we get our guys out pretty early. They win, but I don't know about 40.
This is a tough one. Centennial +5 at Hillsboro.
It's going to be tough, man. I got to go with the Burrows, but I hope I'm wrong.
The Bruins +25, Father Ryan.
Bruins, but not the 25.
Shelbyville +8, Summit.
Jeez, Manetti. I don't know.
That's a close one, too.
Yeah.
Nolensville +10 over Lincoln.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. Got to say one thing before we sign off. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Great people.
Mark Cross, wish him the best of luck. Cannot express the gratitude and thankfulness I have for what he's done for us, what he's done for the WCS Sports Conference, what he's done for our teams, what he's done for our coaches, the official hot wing of the WCS Sports Conference, the Williamson Wallbanger. I'm going to miss it, man. I can taste it right now.
Anyway, he can get you the recipe and teach you how to do it.
It'd be nice.
But yeah, and always with a smile on his face, man. Talk about energy.
The three of us are a deadly combo.
That's right.
Thank you for joining us for this week's WCS Sports Connection. We'll see you next time.